Hello, readers. Today we're going to review asking and answering questions using a nonfiction text. Before we get started, what words do you use when you need to ask a question? The most common words used are called our 5 W's. We have who, what, when, where, why, and then we have our H word, how. Each of these words goes with a specific answer. When you see a who question, like who are you? Who is on the playground? You're usually looking for a character. When you see a what, like what are you doing? Or what time it is, it's usually the answer has to do with a thing. Okay? When you hear a when question, when are you going to eat lunch? When are you going to eat dinner? When do you go home? When do you come to school? Usually you think of a time, okay? Where is a place? Like where do you go to school? Where do you live? Why? Often will ask you the reason behind something. Why did you decide to talk while the teacher was teaching? Why did you decide to jump off that swing while you were high in the air? Okay? And then how is one of the most difficult questions of all. How has to do with how something works, okay? Or how it's done. So if I ask you, how do you make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich? You would tell me all the steps, okay? So there's the question words that you would use if you needed to ask a question. Now, how do I ask a question? Okay? When you ask a question about a text, the first thing you need to make sure is that you can find the answer in the text. We call that our text-based evidence. If you can't find the answer in the key details in your text, then you can't ask the question. Okay? Any question that you ask must also have an answer in the key details. Now, yes, you can ask wonderful questions and you can look elsewhere for the answers, but when given a passage, you need to make sure that those who, what, when, where, why, and how questions, you can also find the answers in the key details, okay? So this is what we're going to practice today. Today you are going to ask questions, and then you are going to go on the hunt in the passage to answer questions, okay? Some of you might be reading about beavers. Some of you might be reading about communities. It just depends on the text that your group was assigned. But everybody's activity is going to be the same. Right? Here is what your activity should look like as a finished product. Okay? You will see that the person who completed this activity, they have 4 Post-its in each box. Okay? So clearly before you can even do this activity, you need to either listen to the text or read the text to yourself. After you have read the passage, you're going to identify 4 details that you can use to answer a question. Okay, so let's look at this example over here. I can tell based on these questions that this student was reading about seahorses. Okay, and this first question right here on the post-it says, where does seahorses live? Now notice, this person messed up because they put their detail or the answer on top of the post-it. You want the answer to actually go under the post-it. So if we hung these in the hallway, you would kind of be quizzing the people who walked by on the different things you read about, okay? So let's look at this one. It says, what do seahorses eat? Notice the question is on the post-it. If I lift this post-it up, hopefully it would have the detail from the text that tells me what do seahorses eat, okay? So the question goes on the top of the post-it and the detail to answer the question should go underneath, kind of like a little flip book, okay? So that's your review real quick and a little description of what you're going to do with asking and answering questions. If you have any further questions, don't hesitate to ask the people in your group, or if an emergency, you can ask your teacher. But remember, go back to those words. Who, what, when, where, why, and how, and use those to start your questions, okay? And also make sure if you cannot answer your question using the text, then guess what that means? Very good. You can't ask it, so you need to come up with a different question that does have an answer in the text. Good luck!